Hi, I'm Ashley and welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing a monthly bookish reset for June. And at the time of filming this video, it is May 31st, so tomorrow is June 1st. And I can't believe that it's already June and that we're almost already halfway through the year. Like, I feel like January was just yesterday. But anyways, my original plans for this video were to go over my June TBR hopefuls and then to set up my book journal spread for June and also do some organizing of my book journal supplies. But when my husband came home on his lunch break today from work, he looked at me and was like, want to go on an adventure later? So later this afternoon when he gets home from work, we're going to go to Crumbl Cookies because one of their flavors this week is a banana split cookie and my husband loves anything that's banana flavored. So we're going to go get some cookies, but in the same plaza as the Crumbl Cookies is the Barnes & Noble that we usually go to. So of course, since we're going to be in the area, I have to go inside and I'm going to browse around. And I don't need any books, but I might end up buying a book. So I thought it would be fun to include that in here as well. So the next thing you see will be B-roll of that trip. And then after that, I will come back and go over my TBR for June. So it is the next day, so that means it's June 1st, so happy June. And yesterday I did end up going to Barnes & Noble with my husband and we got Crumbl Cookies, and I do have a mini book haul because I got a couple books. So I ended up getting Your Blood, My Bones, and I'm really excited to read this, and I am planning to participate in Summerween this year, so I thought this would be perfect to read during Summerween. And then the other book I got, so in my B-roll footage, you could see me looking at Spin of Fate and Beastly Beauty. And so I was trying to decide between the two of those, which one I wanted to buy. And the way I made my decision was I actually went onto my library website and I went and saw which one was more readily available at the library. And Beastly Beauty actually had more libraries in my library network that had it, whereas Spin of Fate, only 2 libraries had it and they're both checked out. So I did end up buying Spin of Fate, which I did talk about this one in my May 2024 YA Fantasy release video. And this one was pitched as being like Avatar: The Last Airbender. But since then, I've actually heard people compare this to Naruto, and the author herself is a big Naruto fan. So that actually made me want to read this even more. Because while I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, I was a huge Naruto fan as a teenager. So that made this move up in my TBR. And speaking of TBRs, I am planning to read this in June, so that's one of the books on my TBR. So now let's talk about the other books I hope to read in June. So the book that I am currently reading, and I'm going to be finishing the next couple of days, is Darker by 4. This is a YA fantasy that came out in April, and it reminds me of the Mortal Instruments a little bit, but it also reminds me, if you're an anime fan, it reminds me of Bleach and Jujutsu Kaisen. And so this has exorcists in it and reapers, and I am just loving this so far. Another book that I want to get to this month is one that has been on my physical TBR since the end of last year, and that is Nightbirds by Kate J. Armstrong. And this one is a YA fantasy, and up until recently I thought this was a standalone, but I was wrong because the second book in the series is coming out this August. And so this book follows 3 girls, and they all have magic, but they live in a world where women having magic is outlawed. And so they are part of this system called the Nightbird system, and they, as Nightbirds, can gift some of their magical powers to someone else with a kiss. And so that right there sounds very intriguing. And on the back, there's a little blurb that says, the first lie was that they were alone. The second was that their magic was not for them. And the third was that they were safe. So that also piques my interest. And so I've been wanting to read this for a very long time, and I'm very determined to get to it this month. Then book 4 on my TBR is A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cattrall. And this one is very different from what I usually read. First of all, it's adult fantasy, and it's written in letter format, which intrigued me because I've never read a book that was all letters before. This book came out at the end of April, and I was originally interested in it when I read the description of it online, but then I saw like some negative early reviews, which made me a little nervous and wary. But then I went to Barnes & Noble at the end of April, and they had this book, so I looked at it and I peeked inside it. And one of the things that one of the reviews said that this was written in like very hard to read, like English. So I was thinking like, oh, is it going to be like Shakespeare style? Because I don't want to do that. But then when I was reading through it at Barnes & Noble a little bit, it reminded me very much of like the way Emily Wilde is written. And I love Emily Wilde, so I was perfectly fine with the writing style so far. Like, it'll obviously take a little bit more effort than like a YA book, but that's fine. And there was a part in here that I read while at Barnes & Noble that already touched my heart, so I was like, okay, yep, I have to read this. So what intrigued me about this book is it is compared to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and this book takes place in an underwater city, which I think is really cool. Apparently there were these 2 characters that were exchanging letters, and they fall in love, but then they go missing. And then so their siblings start sharing letters and start trying to figure out what happened to them. So it kind of sounds like a mystery, but also sounds kind of cozy. So I'm super excited to get to this one this month, and hopefully I will enjoy it. So the last 2 books that I want to get to this month are actually new releases that I had pre-ordered, so I don't have them yet, but they are coming out at the beginning of this month. And they're both coming out on June 5th, and the first one is a fantasy romance called The Wren in the Holly Library, which I talked about this one a little bit in my June releases video that I put up recently. But this one, the cover and the sprayed edges grabbed me right away. And so this one was kind of a cover buy, but also the description of it was also intriguing. This one apparently takes place in the modern day world, but it takes place in kind of a dystopia version of it, because 13 years ago, before the start of this book, monsters emerged from the shadows and the world was on the edge of destruction, and in order to save the world and society, a treaty was made with the monsters, and a truce of sorts was called. Our main character in this book, Kirsty, is a thief, and she ends up breaking into the Holly Library, and she doesn't know that it is home to a monster, so she is unknowingly breaking the treaty. But the monster that is there, of course, he is terrifying, but he's also kind of charming, and he ends up making a deal with Kirsty because he sees her skill as a thief. And so our story goes from there, and hopefully the story is just as beautiful as the book cover and edges are. And then the last book that I hope to get to this month is The God and the Gumiho by Sophie Kim. And this is an adult fantasy book, and it is about a gumiho, or a 9-tailed fox, who back in the day was known for devouring hundreds of souls. But she has since retired, and she just now spends her days in peace working at a coffee shop. But a regular customer of the coffee shop is this fallen god, and he has recently been given a task to hunt down and kill a demon, and to also find the gumiho, the 9-tailed fox, and turn her in. And the gumiho knows that he is looking for her, but he doesn't know who she is, and so she ends up becoming his assistant to help him hunt down the demon. She is figuring that if she is his assistant, then he won't suspect her of being the gumiho. So this book just sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, cozy, and has the potential for some angsty, cute romance. Okay, so those are all the books that I hope to get to this month. My TBR is a little ambitious because usually I only read about a book a week is my goal. And my TBR has 6 books at the moment, but I feel like I might be able to do it, so I'll just do my best. But now we are going to go set up my journal spread for June and also do some organization of my journal supplies because at the moment I don't really have a home for them, and so they just end up all over my apartment, which is not good. So I finally bought a container so I can organize my washi tape and other journal supplies. Organize my journaling supplies. So here's all my washi tape. You can see how disorganized that one is. And I got this little container here. And I actually already put some Christmas washi tape in here. So I'm going to put the rest of the washi tape in here and then maybe stick the stickers on the bottom. So I'm done with this. I have my washi tape in here. I was thinking of putting my stickers in here too, but I think I'm going to find a different way to organize those. So I'm just going to keep my washi tape in here. So we are back at my bookshelf to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed this little reset vlog. I know I enjoy watching other booktubers reset vlog, and I've been wanting to do reset vlogs for a while now. I did do one like once back in last August, but I haven't done any since then, and I really wanted to do one last month, but I just didn't have the time. So I'm glad I finally got around to doing one for June. And I want to try to do one of these videos every month. So if there's anything else you would like to see in these videos, please let me know down below in the comments. And also let me know down below what you're looking forward to reading this month. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye!